Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm covering 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 3, Episode 8. And let me just tell you, side note, I'm very frustrated. Why am I very frustrated? Because I just said Episode 8. If you notice, the last episode I put up was 6. Where's 7? Yeah, I recorded the whole thing, 40 minutes of me talking, making jokes about all this. And it got deleted. Oh, I'm so pissed. It got deleted. I have to delete my episodes because they're so long. They take up so much space on my computer. I deleted it. So I don't even have it. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated with myself. I'm so sorry, you guys. So you're going to notice we skipped from 6 to 8. And so I'm just frustrated. So I'm going to try to remember what I talked about with 7. I watched so many shows. It's hard. It kind of runs together. But I'm sure we can figure it out as we go. So let's jump into episode 8. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So we start out with Avery and Omar. Now remember, Avery's 19 years old. She's from Columbus, Ohio. She and her mom have traveled to Lebanon to meet up with her fiancé, Omar. They arrived 5 days ago and they're getting married today. And they're in Lebanon because he's actually from Syria. It's too dangerous. So they had to meet in Lebanon. She can't travel to Syria. So last night, her mom took Omar out and they had a serious talk. And when she got home, Avery says her mom was being weird, so mom and Avery got into a fight. Today, she says, the mom is saying, listen, I want you to know that I really want things to work out for you. I want to just make sure you know that I have concerns. Omar shows up and, okay, let's talk about this. So Omar is supposed to have been planning this wedding all along. He has completely dropped the ball. He has got nothing done where he promised her he would. This is what they've been fighting about. Now he comes to her and is like, oh yeah, we have to go to the court of Islam. She's like, say what? So they have to rush over to get these papers signed that they're allowed to marry. And once they get these papers approved, then they can take the permission from the court over to the mosque and get married. So Avery is just so, I hate to call her stupid, but she's being so stupid about this. She sees no red flags, no problems here. Sure, we'll just get married anyway. It'll be fine. It'll work out because we're in love. So then we're at Darcy and Tom. Okay. So she flew to London a little over a week ago, and from there they were supposed to go over to Canaria. It's a place in Africa, it's this bright blue water, all this stuff. Well, they didn't go there. Instead, she changed the plans and was like, hey, let's meet up with my twin and her fiancé in Albania. Tom he's a twat. He's not being fun at all. He's not helping the situation, but it's mostly Darcy. Darcy's like fighting with her twin. Tom's not happy. He's saying, listen, this is too stressful. Darcy says, I'm seeing her, Darcy is saying that she sees her twin Stacy demeanor around Florian today and feels like Stacy's acting immature. Well, truthfully, they're both acting immature. It's ridiculous. So this is where shit hits the fan because all she's done is drop hints about proposals and marriage and proposals and all this stuff. Tom has said all along to the camera, I'm not ready. I'm not even thinking about this. It's not time. This is like a first date for me, not a proposal. But then he tells her, had she gone to Gran Canaria, it would have been way more romantic and he could have possibly proposed. Now, I'm calling BS. He did not want to propose to her. He's just trying to drive the knife in and make her feel it that she made the wrong choice. So while I think she's mostly to blame for a lot of things wrong with them, I think he is totally to blame for this point, because that's just an asshole thing to do. He's making her feel terrible, and I think he had no intention of proposing. I don't think he sees her more than a fling. So it's the next morning, and she's obviously really depressed. I mean, who wears leather pants this much? But anyway, she goes to have coffee with her sister. Now, again, just a reminder, I have never watched any 90 Day anything. This is my first step into any of this stuff. And their relationship is so freaking weird. And I say that because apparently they've been on previous seasons together, and now they have a show together. I'm curious if I should get into that show too. It's so weird. Darcy and Stacey, I guess. But they're very it's like, I guess it's like siblings. They love each other, but they fight, and they fight so uncomfortably, and they seem very jealous of what the other one has, and it's very a childish relationship. So Stacey is telling Darcy that maybe Tom's not feeling Darcy, and that he's finding things to nitpick. And I actually agree with Stacey there. And then she says, I'm seeing shades of Jesse with this new relationship. Of course, Jesse is Darcy's old, this whole thing that I didn't watch, though. I guess they were on 90 Day Before. And, yeah, she can't stop bringing them up. So then we go over to Tim and Jennifer. Now, this is one of my least favorite storylines. They cannot see, they just keep fighting, and it's kind of hard to watch. They seem to be getting along okay right now. They're going to meet her parents, so they're gonna she wants Tim to go work on the farm with her dad. And Tim just gives me serial killer vibes. I can't put my finger on it. He just creeps me out. And Jennifer, I think, likes to fight. She's, feisty, and so they're kind of hard to watch for me. I cringe a lot with them, and not in a fun way like I do with Angela and Michael. But they go to this very remote farm here, and they try to make him castrate bulls. And he's like, no, not doing that. But the meeting goes well. He does seem to impress the dad some. The dad is worried about Jennifer because she's divorced and had her heart broken. So he's worried that this is going to happen again, with Timothy. So that's pretty much it for that part. So we go to Rebecca and Zied. And this is why I'm annoyed the last episode cut deleted. The big point in the last episode was the meeting went okay with his parents. They didn't like her tattoos, but they seemed open to, the two of them getting together. The meeting went horribly with his sister. She is not into this at all. She does not like Rebecca. She basically told her she doesn't like her. It was the most uncomfortable dinner ever. Anyway, so what's happening now is she's excuses herself in the hotel room. She FaceTimes her friend back home. Her friend is also her boss at the PI business. And she's like, hey, just so you know, I ran a background check on him. And you think it's going to be this horrible find. It's really not. Basically, she found nothing. No record of anything. And not even a record of a job. So Rebecca's like, I'll have to get to the bottom of that. Make sure he's not using me. So then we're over to Ben and Akini. Now, if you remember, Ben is from Arizona. He went to Kenya to meet his girlfriend's soon-to-be fiancé. So they had a dinner with the family. It has not gone well. The dad didn't show up. The brother's not sure about him. He's staying with her brother. She takes him to church. That's where her dad is the pastor, preacher, whatever you want to call him. And so Ben is sitting there, and Ben is rightfully very intimidating because her dad is this big presence up on stage. He's got everybody captivated, and he's yelling, and he's preaching, and it's making Ben very nervous to meet him. So he does, though. He meets him, and he says he's a powerful speaker. It's a scary visual, and it makes me uneasy. Akini says her dad didn't come the other day because Okay, so this is where it gets weird. Akini explains to Ben, listen, you have to meet the elders. And Ben's like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's the elders. It's the thing. It's her spiritual leaders. And they're going to go home and talk to Dad and the elders. And you need to get all of their blessings. And if you do, then that's how this will work out. And Ben is like, I don't know why Akini can't just give me a step-by-step play of how this should go. I'm tired of the surprises. And I say, good for you, Ben. Finally, thinking about things like that. But I just wish he'd say that to her. Like, why not just tell me I have to meet your elders? So then we go over to Caesar. And so, okay. This whole time I've been feeling bad for Caesar, right? Because if you remember, he had this girlfriend, Maria. She's from the Ukraine. And they've been together for 5 years. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is Maria, his totally real Ukrainian girlfriend. He's hanging out at the resort, right? And he's just had his heart broken. She has told him, you know what? It's not going to work out. I can't do this. This is after he spent so much money, borrowed money from his boss, just every possible wrong thing he can do. He even set up this dinner, right, that was going to be so romantic, he was going to propose. And, so obviously she didn't come. It's so awkward. He feels terrible. He seems like a genuinely nice guy, but I switched from feeling sorry for him to he's starting to bug me in this episode. I'm going to go ahead. I don't normally jump ahead, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this idiot, and I say that not meaning it as mean as it sounds, but kind of, because you think he's going to finally see the light. He finally starts to realize, oh my God, I've been played. What has happened? He turns it around and is like, well, I better start saving because I'm going to the Ukraine. Oh my gosh. So then we're at Angela and Michael. Always fun to see them. She's mad because she was going to take him on a boat ride for his birthday, and she's always catching him in these lies. Now, I can't figure this out. I've said this before. I think he seems like a nice guy, and she seems like a jealous, possessive train wreck. But obviously, he's got a lying problem, so I think they might deserve each other. So she lives in Georgia. He lives in Nigeria. I can't imagine why that wouldn't work out. The last episode, she got so pissed at him for lying to her about, he said he hadn't been on a boat since he was a kid. She's seen his social media. There's a picture of him on a boat. She threw a cake in his face. So she wasn't seeing him. Finally, they met up. She agreed to see him, and this is their dinner. And it's so cringy and awkward, and she's like, it's so funny. It's like she gets off on being mad at him, but then he's like, I'm sorry, I gotta do better about this truth thing. And she's like, oh, okay. And they're holding hands. I mean, it's just like all better. Okay, cool. Let's get married. What? We go over to Tim and Jennifer. Again, it's hard for me to care about these two, to be honest. He's just strikes me as so cringy and weird and desperate, I guess. I don't know. But he is in Colombia. He's FaceTiming his buddy, and he's just like, I don't know, looking for some confidence or something. He's had his heart broken before. She's had hers heart broken before. But then we see a nice scene of them. Her mom is watching her baby, so they go in the local town and they try out all these new foods, and it's kind of sweet. They've been together for days and they haven't even kissed each other. And he's saying he wants to wait and be respectful, which is nice. And she's saying, I want a man to take charge. And he's just not taking charge. So they sit at this fountain, and I understand it's awkward with a camera pointed at them, but her body language couldn't be more like, okay, let's do this. And he's still hesitant. It takes her staring at him this close to his face when he finally moves in for a kiss. They both seem super happy about the kiss, and they kiss a few more times, and she's saying it bonds them even closer. And so then we go back to Omar and Avery. They are hurrying as fast as they can to try to get the approval from the Islamic court, so that way they can take it to the mosque to get married. They have less than an hour to do this. They got approved, and they're supposed to be getting married 30 minutes later. So they have to run as fast as they can to get her dress and to hurry up and dress really fast. They're excited. I mean, she has to cover up her cross tattoo on her hand. She's hiding so that way when he comes out, he's surprised when he sees her. So this is the dress that she had picked out like on day 2 of her trip here. So they're off to the mosque to get married. Now she has to wear this cloak over her during the ceremony. It's tradition. And the mom doesn't understand why he hasn't told her she has to wear this cloak. He's happy to be marrying her. He wishes his family could be there. So this is where things get interesting. They ask for a witness, and of course mom is there. She wants to be the witness. He explains, no, in their culture, you can either have one man witness or 2 women. Mom to camera says Avery doesn't fully understand what she's getting into. She doesn't understand that it's 2 women that equal 1 man. And so mom is just not happy about any of this. She's making comments. And she's saying, how will Avery feel in a year about all this? Avery to camera is saying, I can't believe my mom right now. If she ruins my wedding, I will never forgive her. So then we're back to Darcy and Tom, and things go from bad to worse. They're in Albania. Of course, they've been there a couple days with the sister and fiance. They're on a car trip. And turns out Tom gets very car sick. So the trip was already not going well for him. He did not want to be in Albania. They were supposed to be at this Gran Canaria and having a romantic time on a yacht, and they ended up in Albania. So he's car sick, and it's not going well at all. He gets out to get sick, and he comes back, and she's trying to hug up on him, and he's like, can I get a little bit of space? And so Stacy pounces on this opportunity. It's like, yeah, you're smothering the guy. Darcy's pissed at Stacy, and just from bad to worse. So they go and they look at some things in a shop. Tom is just not having this. He's saying that, this is more like friends on a holiday. This isn't romantic at all. And she's just hell-bent on arguing with her sister. But then they go out to this dinner. It's just the 2 of them. They want to have some one-on-one time, see if they can get the relationship to progress. And he's saying she changes when she's around her sister, which she does. I've seen it too. It's weird. She starts to cry. She says she feels like if they had gone to Gran Canaria, things would have been different. And so, again, we find out that's where his parents got engaged. He tells her that's what would have happened possibly, but I'm calling bullshit on that. I just don't believe it. I think he's like just proving how wrong she was on picking Albania rather than Gran Canaria. So then we're over in Tunisia with Rebecca and Zied. They go out for Tunisian food, and she says she's head over heels for him and vice versa. He takes her for the specialty. She's not sure if she likes it. She does. She loves it. Okay. So she's, of course, found out this information about his background check that literally nothing shows up, not even his employment. So she's worried that he's been lying about his employment history. So she ends up telling him, she's like, hey, just so you know, my friend did a background check. She explains that there's no employment history. Well, he starts getting worried, saying, oh, she doesn't trust me. And he explains, as we all suspected, that his boss just pays him under the table, basically. There's nothing to report. He pays him in cash. Zied says, do you want the name of my boss? And she's kind of like, no, yeah, I do. She's concerned that at 26 he hasn't had a job on his record. And he says he does so much work. She says that, if she brought him to America, he can't just hang at the house. He has to go out and work. So, I don't know. It just feels like a fake point of contention to me. She probably already knew this. All right, so back to Ben and Akini. Ben, remember, needs to impress the elders from church to give the blessings. If they give blessings, Dad will give blessings. and the spiritual elders have to give blessings along with the parents. The brother is there as well. So they ask Ben to introduce himself. This is just so painfully awkward. Can you imagine? I mean, I understand that it's their culture and their tradition. Cool. Okay. But she didn't even warn him that this is what was happening. You know, they're all in fancy suits and fancy dresses, and Ben's in a polo. Even Akini is more dressed up than Ben is. Ben's just in a polo. He didn't know. So they go through this whole thing. They ask him a bunch of questions, ask him about being married before. He has to explain all of that. But it works out. They end up giving the permission. And Dad says, Ben, I think you're a serious man, and that's why I accept this for now. I thought that for now was interesting. Ben is very happy. He says, thank you. And they say now they can get married because of all the blessings. Then it comes up, this bride price. Remember, that's what Ben has to pay as a thank you to her family for marrying her. We still don't know what it's going to be. Ben's freaking out because he has no money, so this is going to be a big deal probably the next episode. Back to Tim and Jen. They've had this fun date today. They have been, they finally kissed, and they're being more affectionate with each other and enjoying it, and they end up going back to his Airbnb for the night. He suggests that they change into PJs and climb in bed, and it's just a weird vibe because she wants to be intimate with him and he seems not sure. And I mean, whatever, that's fine, but it's just weird because he talked the whole time about, how physically attracted he's been to her, but then when it comes time to show it, he's nervous. Okay. So they climb in bed and she wants him to take charge and make a move. He's worried, he's feeling insecure because she's so beautiful. But he ends up kicking the cameraman out of the room. We'll see what happens there. Oh, goodness. Then we go over to Angela and Michael. Oh, my gosh. Always something with them. Okay. So Angela is saying things have been better since we made up. Okay, so in like 2 hours, things have been better? Cool. So they have this plan. They're going to go see Michael's mom. So they go out to Michael's mom's house, and they're all lovey-dovey on the way. This is, again, like less than 24 hours since she threw a cake in his face. Mom is really sweet. She's actually sweet about Angela. I wondered what the reaction would be, but she was nice to her. They talk about, the fighting they've had, and Mom kind of sides with Angela a little bit, telling Michael honesty is a virtue. Mom asks about their plans, and they kind of start talking about, and this is where things get weird for them. So in Nigeria, it's an expectation that you'll have a child to carry on the name of your family. So once again, Angela says the line, my daughter offered to tote it if they'll implant it. Oh my God, tote it. Okay. So then his mom thinks that means that Michael has to sleep with her daughter. Ew, ew, ew. Of course, her daughters are grown up, but still, ew, ew, ew. And they're like, no, that's not what happens. It'd be like medically done. And Mom says if that doesn't work, maybe she can release you to go have a child. And it's like, what? Basically, in Nigeria, they said it's a thing where you can release your husband to go impregnate another woman so that way you have a child to carry on the family name. What? All right, so back to the Avery and Omar of it all. So, of course, they're getting married. Mom's pissed because she can't be the witness. So this is also interesting. Avery does not speak Arabic. So when that happens and you get married, it's tradition that you get a representative. So this guy we saw before that helped them secure the venue and all that comes to be her representative. So Omar has to hold hands with this guy, and he basically the representative accepts the marriage for them. Anyway, it works out. They get married. Everybody's happy. It's, no red flags there, right? They go to dinner afterwards. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have a pit in my stomach talking about this. Okay. So they go to dinner, right? It's to celebrate the marriage. Things are going great. Mom's being supportive. Avery's happy. Omar's happy. Cool. Okay. So, Mom talks about, so how's it going to work? Is she going to try to come see him again sometime before she gets the visa for him to come to America? Avery drops the bomb that in July she's going to go down with his sister. Somehow she's going to move there, basically. That sounded to me like she might meet his sister in Lebanon, and the sister's going to help her get into Syria. Syria, let that sink in. She's sneaking into Syria. Mom asks if that's a good idea, and Omar says she's fine, she'll be with me. Mom asks, how is this all going to work? And Avery says, and then Mom says, Avery, you can't work. You can't even speak the language. Is she just supposed to sit at home? And Avery's answer is, Mom, don't worry. Well, of course Mom's worried. She's an adult. She can think like an adult. Like see the big picture. Like, oh my God, you're messing up. This is big. This is dangerous. It's one thing to bring him to America, which is also dangerous, but another story. But it's a whole nother to pick up and leave for Syria, of all places. Syria. So Mom understandably gets very upset, starts to cry. And again, Avery's saying things like, it's okay, I feel safe with Omar. The guy you've known for 4 days? Okay. Mom says she doesn't want Avery to be caught up in all that. Avery says, well, I'm going regardless. Mom says, well, I'm ready to go to the airport. You can sit here and talk about your plans for Syria. So she cries. She ends up getting up and leaving. And Avery chases after her. And that is how we see the episode end. You guys, this is so crazy. Oh my gosh. So, yep, her big plans are just to take off and move to Syria. No problem with that, right? Another great episode. I love recapping these. So much fun. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. There's still quite a few episodes left in the series, so I'm a little surprised about that because I'm not sure what else is going to happen, but I'm sure they'll find stuff. So I'm really curious to see who's made it and who hasn't. I really want to see like the reunion / tell-all, whatever it is that they do at the end. So we'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying this. And check out my other videos. If you want to leave me a comment, I welcome it. Or you can comment on my Twitter @RealRecaps. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.